Welcome to Adu Globe. Discover new ideas, learn exciting things, and be amazed every day. What you're about to watch is not just a story. It's a journey of love, of loyalty, of sacrifice. The faces you'll see may be fictional, but the emotions behind them are very real. Because every pet lover knows, a dog's heart beats only for its human. This film was created to move your soul, to remind you of a bond we sometimes forget. Now, let the story begin. Asterisk. The city was sinking into twilight. The last rays of the sun painted the sky in shades of red and gold, while through the window of a small house, a man stared silently into the fading light. His face carried the weight of loneliness, lines carved not just by time, but by years of battles fought in silence. Success had come and gone, people had drifted away, and somewhere along the way, laughter had disappeared from his life. Even when surrounded by others, his heart felt like an empty room echoing with silence. But in that silence, there was a sound. A soft shuffle, a gentle presence. At the door sat a little golden retriever pup, looking up at him with eyes so pure, so full of love, it felt almost unreal. There were no questions in those eyes, no complaints, only an unspoken promise. With every wag of its tiny tail, the pup seemed to whisper, "You are not alone, I am here with you." The man's gaze met the puppy's, and in that moment, something shifted. The heaviness in his chest began to lift, as if those innocent eyes had found a way to heal what the world had broken. Out there, he might have been forgotten. But here, in this quiet room, a bond was being written, not of words, but of loyalty. And so the story begins, not with victory, not with triumph, but with a man who had given up on life, and a dog who would teach him how to live again. Days began to change in ways the man never expected. The silence of his house, once heavy and suffocating, was now broken by the sound of tiny paws running across the floor, the jingling of a little collar, and the soft bark of joy that greeted him every morning. The puppy wasn't just filling the empty corners of the room, it was filling the empty corners of his heart. At first, he thought it was just a dog, a companion to pass the time. But slowly, the puppy became something else, a reason. A reason to wake up early, a reason to step outside, a reason to smile again. On cold mornings, the man would sit on the porch with a cup of coffee, and the little golden retriever would curl up at his feet, watching the world with him as though guarding his soul. One evening, as rain fell gently against the window, the man sat on the couch lost in thought. Memories of people who once promised to stay but left still haunted him. His chest tightened with the familiar weight of abandonment. And then, he felt it. A soft nudge at his hand. The puppy pressed its warm head against his palm, looking at him with those same honest, unshakable eyes. No judgment, no conditions, just love. For the first time in years, tears slipped from the man's eyes, not from sorrow, but from gratitude. He realized something profound. While the world had walked away, this small creature had chosen him. In the loyalty of that little dog, he discovered a truth far greater than any he had known, that sometimes, the purest form of love doesn't come from people at all. The night had grown quiet, the soft glow of a single lamp filling the room while raindrops tapped gently against the window. He sat silently on the couch, staring outside as if lost in memories too heavy to speak of. Slowly, the golden retriever padded across the floor and rested its head gently on his lap. In those deep, innocent eyes was a message clearer than words, "You're not alone." A lump rose in his throat as he reached out, running his hand softly over the dog's ears. For the first time in years, a faint smile broke through his sorrow. In that quiet, rain-soaked night, a silent promise was made between them, of loyalty, of companionship, of a bond stronger than words, a bond only a heart could understand. The morning light spilled gently through the window, filling the room with a quiet warmth. The man still sat on the couch, but his eyes no longer carried the emptiness of the night before. Beside him, the loyal golden retriever wagged its tail softly, as if whispering, "Get up, today is a new beginning." Slowly, the man leaned forward, wrapping his arms around the dog's neck, pulling him close. For the first time, he realized this little soul wasn't just a pet, it was his companion, his comfort, his hope. Sunlight touched their faces through the window, as though nature itself had blessed this bond. The weight on his heart began to ease, replaced by a quiet strength and tears that carried healing. Between man and dog, No words were needed. Their silent connection spoke louder than any language, a bond of loyalty, love, and peace. Days passed, but the emptiness was no longer the same. His mornings had changed forever. Each day, when he opened his eyes, the first thing he saw was the golden retriever waiting by his side, wagging its tail as if saying, "Wake up, I'm here for you." The house that once echoed with silence now carried warmth, laughter, and comfort. They walked together in the garden, played in the rain, and every evening, the dog would curl up beside him, resting its head gently on his lap. For the first time in years, he felt that loneliness had been replaced with meaning, and he finally had a reason to live again. He realized this was not just a pet, it was a companion, a loyal partner who would never betray him, never leave him behind. Their bond no longer needed words, it was built on the pure language of loyalty and love, a connection only hearts could understand. As time passed, their bond grew deeper, becoming something far beyond companionship. Wherever the man went, the golden retriever was right there, walking beside him like a shadow of loyalty. In the neighborhood, children adored the playful dog, laughing at his joyful antics. But the truest happiness was seen only in the man's eyes, eyes that had once known loneliness but now glowed with a new purpose. One evening, while sitting quietly in the park, a thought struck him. This dog was no longer just a pet. He was family, a guardian, a silent healer of wounds that no one else could see. The man never had to say the words out loud, their connection was unspoken yet stronger than any vow. When the dog looked at him with those shining, soulful eyes, his heart would swell with gratitude. In that gaze, he felt God's gift, a creature sent not just for company, but to bring light into human lives, easing sorrows with unconditional love. Time kept moving, but the bond between the man and his golden retriever only grew deeper, inseparable like two souls meant to walk the same path. One stormy evening, the city was caught in chaos. Rain poured heavily, streets shimmered under the dim lights, and suddenly, a speeding car lost control, swerving dangerously close. In that split second of terror, the dog reacted without hesitation. With a burst of courage, he lunged forward, pushing his owner out of harm's way, placing himself directly in front of the danger. The screech of brakes filled the air, the world seemed to freeze, and there he was, standing like a shield, drenched and trembling, yet unshaken in his loyalty. His fur clung to his body, raindrops sliding off, but in his eyes burned only one truth: devotion. The man, shaking, fell to his knees and wrapped his arms around the dog, tears streaming uncontrollably. In that moment, he realized this wasn't just a pet, it was his protector, his truest companion, ready to give everything for love. Time moved on, but that one moment changed everything. The man, who once believed loneliness was his destiny, realized he already had the most precious gift in the world, his golden retriever. After the accident, as he held his dog close with tears streaming down his face, one prayer filled his heart: that this bond would never end. That night in the rain, with the sound of screeching brakes still echoing in his mind, the dog's sacrifice carved a promise between them, not spoken in words, but felt in the deepest corners of the soul. Days turned into weeks, yet the memory of that moment never faded. Every time he looked into his dog's eyes, he saw the truest form of loyalty and love, a kind of devotion money could never buy. He finally understood that life's greatest joy wasn't found in possessions, but in the unbreakable bond between a man and his faithful companion. Their story didn't end that night. It was only the beginning of a life built on love, trust, and unwavering loyalty. Every bond tells a story, and this was the story of a golden retriever's loyalty, love, and unbreakable companionship. But now, I want to hear your story. Do you have a dog? If yes, what breed is your loyal friend, and what makes your bond so special? Share it with us in the comments below, because every pet deserves to be celebrated. And before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and turn on the bell icon, so you never miss another heart-touching story. See you in the next video.